with that out of the way, let's talk about our first main topic. And our first main topic is about Airbnb. Now, just for the record, I don't do Airbnb. I've stayed in an Airbnb, but I don't personally have an Airbnb that I share. Do you have an Airbnb that you share?
No, I've used the service before, both by myself and then also like with a group of friends for somebody's birthday, staying overnight, like in this really, really nice apartment. You have lots of food, mainly like Korean barbecue and lots of alcohol and lots of games. Yeah, that's always fun for Airbnb.
Right. So anyway, but now here's a question. Would you, if you, for example, had an extra house, hypothetically, would you do Airbnb?
I think I'd have to do a little more research into the pros and cons of it. I mean, the pro obviously is that you could make a lot more money than just renting it because you can charge per night, like maybe $150 or $200 a night. And if you're able to get people in at least half the month, right? Let's say 200 times 15, that's like $3,000. And then maybe it's a place that you might normally rent for $1,500. And so just having it half the time occupied, making double the money. I mean,
that's
from
definitely
an investment perspective, maybe.
That's definitely the pro. But one of the cons, of course, is you don't necessarily know who you're going to get and what they're going to do with your house. And, well, a vegan beauty model found out the hard way that, you can charge a lot of money to rent a room or a house or whatever she's. She had a luxury apartment. And you could charge a lot of money, and it doesn't guarantee that things are going to work out the way you have. Now, there is a couple things I do want to say about this. First of all, obviously, there's not going to be Korean barbecue in this apartment because she's a vegan beauty mogul. I also want to say, at some points in this article, they say model, and then some places they say mogul. I don't know which it is, but I don't quite understand what the whole thing is with saying like, oh, that's a vegan model. And it's like, well, if it's a model, I'm assuming they're not eating at Burger King. So, just saying that. But anyway.
Usually not.
Impossible Whopper hasn't been around that long. But this was a funny story because it really highlights the dangers of Airbnbs. And it's what you should really. So here's the article. A vegan beauty magnate, see now they're saying magnate, is suing Airbnb for $253,000 after a guest booked through the online marketplace allegedly trashed her apartment and stole designer dresses and shoes from Gucci and Chanel. Cassandra House, 35, claimed in a lawsuit filed against the accommodation provider the guest at her Gold Coast beachfront home. So this person definitely has money, by the way. Destroyed her luxury Kruger pans and kitchen pots worth more than $1,300. Miss House, a high-ranking consultant with multi-level marketing giant Airbnb, also said the guest stole a $50 silver banana. Oh, it must be nice to have money.
Banana? That's funny.
Yeah, the lifestyles of the rich and famous, right? Look, this is I got this Charlie Brown bobblehead that my sister-in-law got me. This is probably $20, and I feel like I'm in high heaven. So, but for some people, it's a $50 banana.
Why a banana? What's her infatuation with the banana?
I don't know, but I've heard about this. I've heard that gold bananas and diamond bananas are actually a thing with rich people. I don't know why. What was also stolen was a 279 bottle of Dom Perignon champagne, which, my wife buys barefoot champagne for $7 at Vaughn. So, Now, the motivational speaker said in her filing, the banana matched the Apple decor of her 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment, which is available to rent for $700 per week. And not only do we have a picture of the model, this is her on the right, But
Okay.
this is the house. You can see.
Wow, that looks nice.
Yeah, this is a very nice house. $700 a night. You could rent this from her. Look at that bathroom. It's bigger than this room.
Wow, it's bigger than some people's studio apartments.
Exactly. So this is a very nice place. Now, I am kind of two minds of the crime itself. First of all, I want to kind of think like, well, yeah, if you have like a super fancy house like this, obviously stuff is going to get stolen. But I'm also of the mind like, but at $700 a night, you would think that those people would probably have enough money that they wouldn't need to steal things like this. So, I mean, unless maybe they were intentionally trying to burglarize the place, like, hey, we'll spend $700, but we'll steal like $3,000 worth of stuff.
Yeah, so we get our money back plus more.
Right. So maybe it was an investment night out at the Airbnb.
Yeah, it could have been a criminal plan, maybe.
Maybe, you never know. So anyway, obviously Airbnb, said the usual thing, like, we're sorry this happened. We're working with the police and the local authorities, but it does show that this is still a high risk. So I don't know. I guess first question, now that we read the story, if you theoretically had your second house with like the diamond swimming pool and, every single DVD of Family Guy and The Simpsons all put together in alphabetical order, would you feel comfortable renting it out at $500 a night?
No. Oh, hey, Gig Life. No, well, at least not like having. My question is, why did she leave all of those like personal, expensive belongings? It's kind of like how they say don't leave valuables in your car. I would assume, same kind of thing. Like if you're renting it out and it's just a rental and you have your own place to stay, like me, like this, I live here, right? So if I happen to have, like you said, an extra apartment or a house, I wouldn't leave a bunch of like my personal things there. I would leave maybe like some basics, like an Airbnb person might normally leave, like maybe here's some food, or here's some cleaning stuff, or whatever. Here's a first aid kit, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Here's access to the but not a whole lot of extra stuff. I mean, why?
Yeah, well, one thing I was looking for, but I'm not seeing it in the article. My first thought is this isn't just her Airbnb house. This is maybe a main place where she lives and she was just not going to be there for a week or so. Maybe she decided just to rent it out and make a little extra money. But I mean, because here's the thing, when you rent out an Airbnb, there are some things that you reasonably do have to put in there. I mean, you probably have to put dishes in there. You probably have to have towels. It's probably a good idea to have like a streaming box, like a Roku or an Apple TV with like a widescreen TV. There's just some things that people will expect to be there.
True.
And there's obviously going to be, hi Gig Life. There's obviously going to be some risk that something will get taken. But you are correct. Like I would, for example, not put my signed posters or my original Garfield animation cell or, my Tales of the Beetle Bard leather-bound signed book by J.K. Rowling in the Airbnb. There are some things I probably wouldn't put an NES Classic in an Airbnb. Yeah, I'm sure the guests would get a kick out of it, but not exactly difficult to steal, but certainly expensive enough to make a hassle worth replacing.
Yeah.
So
leaving dishes, sure, but you don't need to leave your 40K and what is it, Tiffany diamonds and Chanel and Gucci shoes. They don't need access to that.
Yeah, actually, some of the other stuff that was stolen was other six-figure valuations in the long list of claims include $10,000 worth of Swarovski jewelry and $55,000 in engagement presents.
Yeah, your guests don't need to use that. So I would take it out of there, or just not rent it out on Airbnb. But the way that you asked me the question though was as an extra place. So then I would definitely leave only just the essentials, not my personal stuff. I wouldn't rent out my personal place, like if it's a main place that she lives at, like that I wouldn't do Airbnb. But an extra place, maybe, leaving just, nothing unnecessary, like I said.
Right. Now, Gig Life says surveillance cameras all over, which surveillance cameras will help. But here's a bigger question that I have. Like, how much of this is Airbnb's fault? Because I mean, certainly if you rent to an Airbnb patron and they steal stuff, obviously some of that's on Airbnb. But when you're leaving $55,000 of engagement gifts and a $10,000 worth of jewelry and a $50 banana in the place, like, could Airbnb plausibly say that that's just negligence on her part? Like, yeah, we acknowledge there's some dangers and we are willing to help in case someone steals stuff. But if you're leaving, like, it's like leaving like a bucket of money in the Airbnb and expecting them not to take it. Like, does a common
I would have. I mean, if I was Airbnb,
yeah, does that like just make it like, okay, common sense, you shouldn't leave that there?
yeah, like you said, the word negligence. Yeah, if I was Airbnb, I would say, hey, yeah, that's just being unintelligent on your part. That's that's what I would say if I was Airbnb.
Right. So, okay, so we're kind of in agreement. Personally, if I had an extra house, I probably would Airbnb, but I would keep the amount of valuables to a minimum. And I would definitely have renters insurance. But
No kidding.
the question now we have for all of you out there is, what do you think about this? Would you be comfortable doing an Airbnb knowing stuff like this? What do you think about this particular situation? Do you think the mogul model, whatever the heck she is, the article's not clear.
Magnate.
Do you think this beautiful vegan, do you think she's negligent, or do you think this is all on Airbnb? We'd love to know. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, flame responsibly.